like had your second anniversary recently. That's amazing. So are you becoming, I feel like sometimes when couples are together, you start to like be like each other. Are y'all that yet?
Well, I have become a lot neater than I used to be. I put my shoes together now because he puts his shoes together, and I don't want to be the one who's a mess. I eat on the dining table now, which I hated doing. I used to love eating on the couch in my blanket, you know, but he likes to sit on the dining table, so I've started becoming a little bit like that. Yeah, so I think I'm the one who's changed.
No, I love that though. I totally, his personality, I would have totally expected him to be like a clean freak. So
Completely.
yeah.
Even his closet, like all the hangers are sort of distanced together, and mine's like a drawer full of just clothes.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that. Yep, I'm still here, just waiting for you to subscribe. If you don't, I'll be trapped in this box forever.